You sexy minx, you. Look at us doing the damn thing. 2025, ready to thrive. No, I hate it already. Okay, so it feels like I have to kill off a past version of myself in order to make way for a new and improved, shinier version. And don't get me wrong, subscribe to that idea heavily in the past, but this year, not my vibe. I think this year is going to be about new year, new questions. Like, it feels like a turning of the page, a new chapter, turning over a new leaf. How many sayings can we get into one sentence? I just feel like I want to take this exact same version of myself and keep putting one foot in front of the other. In the last 6 months, I think I realized that there were a few things I was pursuing that weren't actually aligned with what I want to do or what gives me fulfillment. And it was more that I thought I should be doing that. For instance, I think in the last few years, I've really carried this idea that I have to sort of hide my marketing background because I was pursuing a career change, when actually that's one of my biggest strengths. So I think like this year I just want to bring more of like the full me to the table and just feel like it's okay if it doesn't make sense in my head. Like that's who I am. There's not much changing it at this point. And also, why doesn't it make sense in my head? Just because I've not seen other people do it that way? Perfect. That's an opportunity, really. I was interviewed the other week on an Instagram live, and one of the questions was, how do you figure out what you want for the year? How do you set your goals, intentions, do a vision board, that sort of thing? And I think it comes down to 3 umbrellas. 1, reflect on what energized you this year and what didn't. What brought you down, what lifted you up in any realm, in any category of life, in any house. 2, experiment with small changes rather than big resolutions. And 3, a big one for me, listen to your intuition and be okay with saying no. I've definitely gotten better at saying no in recent times, but listening to my intuition, sometimes my head wants to override it. So I find that one harder. I just think this year I want to stop trying to figure it all out and just start leaning into adventure and play and fun and get back to that lust for life that I think sent me on this great trajectory in the first place. And I think partly I've been reminded of that essence being back home. Oh yeah, I'm back on Waiheke, back home. It's a bit windy today. We're on the south side of the island. North side is like white sands and probably quite sheltered today. I think there is a bit of a culture in New Zealand of that explore, adventure, lust for life, get out there and like do the damn thing. But I'm also out of my regular routine, and I think that is where inspiration can strike. So I'm feeling quite optimistic about just throwing myself at new experiences this year. Definitely needed that routine and roots last year, but this year I want to lean into that adventure, fun, get that lust for life back, which is part of the inspiration for why we're here right now. Now, I don't know about you, but I am so over the whole "this is our year" shtick that we see online every year. Life is messy, it's unpredictable, we have to adapt and pivot all the time. I do like that opportunity for new beginnings, new outlooks, fresh mindsets and all of that. However, I don't want to have to feel like I have to kill off this old version of me in order to make way for the new one after shedding some skin on January 1st. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for growth, absolutely. I just think, can we stop dwelling on the past like it's a puzzle we have to solve before we can move on? By all means, honor what went wrong in 2024, learn from it, and then let it the fuck go. I know I'm tired of carrying the baggage of last year into shiny new January. So I just think I'm going to embrace the fuck-ups and embrace the learnings and embrace whatever 2024 was and bring it with me. We don't need to declare that it's our year or anyone's year for that matter. I'm just going to show up and do my best with the experiences I have had. And even that pressure to be better all the time. Like I said, yes, I believe in growth, but better. Sometimes it can get a bit overcooked. Yes, I want to be better. Yes, there's areas of my life I want to improve in, but I'm unsubscribing from that idea that I need to kill off 2024 me and leave it behind, leave all these things in 2024 in order to move on. No, they're coming with me. One thing I do want to lean into more this year is dating. not like seeking out partners or relationships, but just being a bit more open to it, being a bit more aware of my surroundings, and if I like the look of someone, going up to them, that sort of thing. Although low-key, I do feel like in the UK, a lot of guys take that as desperate. And I'm like, what? You're just going to make eyes at me all night and not come over, so should we just go back to Hinge, swipe for a little bit, follow each other, and then exist on each other's stories until the end of eternity? No, thank you. I do not like that. I would rather give someone my number these days than my Instagram. I hate doing the whole Instagram swap. But anyway, let's talk about dating and specifically Hinge. Do you know what I've had variations of a fair bit in the last few months is, you're so pretty, how are you single? Sorry, pardon. Are we still saying that? Are we actually still saying that? Sir, me being single does not equal desperation. A, it's a choice. B, you're an example of the men that are on offer, honey. Nah, that's too harsh. But you know what I mean? Being single is not a tragedy or an act of desperation. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's not snatched up with that pretty smile. Like, huh? I don't like to talk of relationships as value because, I don't know, that idea seems a bit funny to me, but maybe it is because I haven't found someone who adds value to my life and lifts me up. I love that saying that's like, there are plenty of men that want to lay me down, but none want to lift me up. I can't remember who said it. I'm going to have to find it. But then also maybe it's because of comments like that I'm like, wow, this is so reassuring that we've got some lovely gents in the world. And then there's also the lazy ones. I'm like, okay, if you're on Hinge for a hookup, fine, do your thing, but make it clear. Because why are you asking me where I'm from when it's clearly in my profile? Did you read it? Are you here to actually date, or are you just here because you're bored and you like the gamified version of dating to get a little boost, you know? You want to feel good because people are liking your photos, or do you actually want to date? Because if you were dating with intention, I feel like you would have seen where I was from. I do that. I'll look at where you're from, where you live now, what you do, how you've answered the prompts. I also highly dislike just liking my photo or a prompt. Like, actually say something. That used to be one of my rules. I'd just straight up X anyone who just liked something. And if you actually wrote a reply and you were cute, then I'd reply. But, you know, I just put some effort in. If you're actually dating for a partner, you gotta walk the talk, babe. I didn't come this far to come this far. That just kills me, that whole idea. Oh my gosh, you're pretty. How are you single? What? I thought we left that in the noughties. Or just like, are you swiping and hoping for the best? Like, are you actually here to find a connection? Which is kind of why I think I'm going to take a step back from the apps and just be more aware of my surroundings wherever I'm socializing or out for an event, networking, all of that. Dating just feels like more of a bad hobby than fun and adventure, you know? I said this to someone I got chatting to on Hinge last year. He was like, oh, so what are you looking for? And I was like, well, to be honest, right now I feel ready for that adventure stage with someone. Like, I'd like to have a teammate and go and have fun and go on adventures, explore, do all that fun stuff, which hopefully would grow into a more settled lifestyle. I'm doing air quotes. Because right now I don't want the house and kids, but I want that adventure with someone. I want to go and do life together. I want to do all that fun stuff, but with the lens on that you're building a foundation. Another thing I've been thinking about back home on the beaches in the sunshine is how I want to maintain relationships and boundaries this year. Part of me feels like it used to be easier to maintain relationships, but then I also feel like I used to talk to people online a lot more. So I'm like, how did that feel easier when now it feels quite tolling to maintain all of these different conversations with people? I want to step away from that. I don't want to have ongoing conversations with people online this year. I want to just like have catch-ups and then leave it at that. Catch-ups, leave it at that. Having all these threads of conversations going on with different people is too, maybe tolling is the wrong word. Maybe it's more like it triggers a guilt complex in me because I feel like I need to reply quickly all the time, and that's just hard to maintain. So then I end up freezing up and not replying for a fucking age. I was chatting to a friend the other day and they gave me a great idea for a mindset shift over this, because I think the issue for me is that I see a message and I feel like I need to reply as soon as possible. However, knowing that I have other people to reply to, and then that just starts piling up, and then I end up taking a few days or whatever, or a couple of weeks to reply. Because you know what happens. Life happens. And then she was like, why don't you just give yourself like a turnaround? Like, the reply is going to be the same whether it's today or in 7 days or 3 days. So if you give yourself like a standard turnaround, maybe it will take some pressure off. So I was like, yeah, I like that. I could do like a 3-day turnaround and just like lift that guilt for myself, because I'm just tired of existing in this state of guilt and feeling like I'm a terrible friend, or like whatever relationship it is, friends or family. The reply will be the same today or in 7 days. The reply is going to be the same. So I like that. I think I'm going to adopt that idea. Like, no one is holding me to that standard to reply as soon as possible, except for myself. If I don't reply straight away, that's fine. People who I know and love know that it doesn't mean anything. It's just life. The message will still be there, and my reply will still be the same in 2 days, 3 days, 7 days. It's okay. And the other thing I want to take some guilt off this year is focusing on my career, because I do actually love it. I think I've just adopted this guilt complex because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm always thinking about it. Oh no, so bad, because other people around me aren't always thinking about work. But I think I've just thought to myself over the last like couple of years, oh, I should switch off at this time. I need to give myself boundaries, la 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 la. But I love it. It is my life. It's my baby. I want to see it grow. So why am I not so outwardly passionate about that? Because I am on the inside. So I just got to let that show and not feel guilty that I'm like, that's like the number one thing I think about. So that's my plan. Less online digital maintenance, more focus on intentional connections. I do think making little tweaks adds more perspective and value to me than coming up with big resolutions. Because like I said, like, I don't want to neglect last year and who I was. I want to bring her with me and keep going, because I value everything I've learned in the last couple of years. And this might be the sunshine talking, but I am feeling optimistic about the year. I just think I'm ready to get that lust for life back. So cheers. Here's to 2025. Away we go. Oh my gosh, my leg is dead. Oh my gosh.